Genshin Impact Enemy Archive 3.0 to 3.2 Elemental Life Forms Pyro Slime, a small monster created by the sedimentation of pyro dispersed throughout nature. Its intelligence is very basic, but its uses are just as broad. Well, for Hilichurls, that is. Large Pyro Slime, a monster created by the sedimentation of pyro dispersed throughout nature. Though its intelligence has not increased with its size, it is very hot. During dry seasons, it can cause wildfires. It will spit forth blazing fireballs when angered, and will turn dark when it is feeling down. A most expressive slime indeed. Hydro Slime, a small monster created by the sedimentation of hydro dispersed throughout nature. Legend has it that some people use hydro slimes as an emergency water source, packing them in preparation for travels through dry regions or deep domains. But due to the high concentration of hydro within these slimes, direct ingestion is, in fact, harmful to the human body. Large Hydro Slime, a monster created by the sedimentation of hydro dispersed throughout nature. A larger and more powerful hydro slime that can create bubbles to entrap its enemies. It is said that they can grow to truly staggering sizes if given an energy-rich environment. Eyewitnesses have supposedly seen hydro slimes as large as a small mound in Wolvendom. Anemo Slime, a small monster created by the coalescing of anemo dispersed throughout nature. It is able to float in the air to a certain degree due to the power of anemo. Large Anemo Slime, a monster created by the coalescing of anemo dispersed throughout nature. Owing to being comprised of a greater concentration of anemo, their flotation abilities are stronger than that of anemo slimes. The Hilichurls living out in the wilds have made use of this special characteristic, creating special vehicles that use large anemo slimes as a form of locomotion to transport goods from unknown sources. Electro Slime, a small monster created by the coalescing of electro dispersed throughout nature. According to analyses, the jumping of electro slimes reflects the electric potential difference in the ground. In areas brimming over with electro, their unusual movements can be observed and used to avoid danger. Large Electro Slime, a monster created by the coalescing of electro dispersed throughout nature. Due to the abundant electro within its form, it will deliver an electric shock to its surroundings from time to time. At present, some have attempted to harness this energy to aid in production activities. Perhaps some new science will be born from this. Mutant Electro Slime, a monster created by the coalescing of electro dispersed throughout nature. Electro slimes can undergo mutations to become bright yellow. Due to the abundant electro within its form, it will deliver an electric shock to its surroundings from time to time, and it can even cause nearby electro slimes to release electric arcs. This arc lightning will not bounce between purple electro slimes, which shows that electro slimes have two different polarities. One wonders if some great new science could emerge from the study of such phenomena. Dendro Slime, a slime that has undergone ecological changes due to abundant dendro in its environment. It has also taken on the weaknesses of the dendro element, and will burn intensely the moment it meets a bright flame. Large Dendro Slime, a slime that has undergone ecological changes due to abundant dendro in its environment. There are some who see it as something similar to the whopper flowers, hiding its true form to trick and hunt its prey, and some regard it as a slime that has been parasitized by some special plant. From this point of view, might some cultures also see these slimes as having some special medicinal value? Cryo Slime, a small monster created through the coagulation of cryo in the natural environment. Competitors once spread malicious rumors that the Dawn Winery used cryo slimes to control the temperature of their wine cellar and preserve the quality of their alcohol. Large Cryo Slime, a monster created through the coagulation of cryo in the natural environment. These slimes can use the abundant cryo energies within themselves to freeze the moisture in the atmosphere and form a protective shell around themselves. They can also utilize a similar principle to freeze the water around them. On some level, this can be considered to be the freest species of slime, as it can cross oceans and seas with ease. Geoslime. Small monsters created through the buildup of geo within the Earth. Generally speaking, the crust of the Earth is filled with geo-energy. Geoslimes that are formed this way have a similarly down-to-earth sort of feeling. Large Geoslime. Monsters created through the buildup of geo within the Earth. They can harden the energy within their bodies into a carapace of stone that protects them and prevents damage. The legend of a golden Geoslime king once circulated among the treasure hoarders. They believe that since gemstones and ores have geo-energy within them, geoslimes, which also contain geo-energy, may also be a type of gemstone or ore. Eye of the Storm. The corporeal form of extremely high-quality anima energies. The formation of an Eye of the Storm indicates that the elemental ley lines of a region are blocked, which has led to siltation. Its reckless, heedless wielding of storms that all but sweeps people off their feet may be due to its nature as a symbol of the world stricken by malaise. Pyrohypostasis. Codename Ion. A high-purity pyro entity. According to researchers, elemental hypostases are related to anomalies in local elemental veins. But whether it is the existence of elemental hypostases that have affected elemental veins, or the mutated elemental energy that created elemental hypostases remains to be confirmed. Hydrohypostasis. Codename Ha. A high-purity hydro entity. Hypostases have strong rejection properties, and will mercilessly expel any that test them. Its rejection behavior even extends to natural elements. Animo-hypostasis. Codename Beth. A high-purity animo entity. Elemental hypostases are life forms which have completely abandoned their former appearance and biological structure, making them able to reach the highest level of elemental purity. Research into hypostases is mainly led by scholars of Sumeru academia, but due to the level of danger that they pose, little of substance is known about hypostases beyond their scientific name and codename. Electrohypostasis. Codename Aleph. A high-purity electro entity. Elemental hypostases are the highest forms of elemental structures, usually formed at a location bursting with elemental energy or at a clogged ley line. Elemental hypostases have developed various attacks based on their elemental attributes. Dendrohypostasis. Codename Zion. A high-purity dendro entity. According to the deductions of some researchers, elemental hypostases have the knowledge required to learn, which is how they use mimesis to initiate attacks. However, the ability to incorporate information to create change also opens one to the risk of information contamination. As this creature learns and changes, the purpose of its birth, no matter how academically unquantifiable it may still be, may yet become so distorted as to be rendered irrelevant. Cryohypostasis. Codename Daleth. A high-purity cryo entity. Research suggests that there are subtle differences between elemental hypostases and other elemental life forms in terms of their physical composition. Perhaps these differences can account for their high level of homeostasis and their almost mechanical movements. Geohypostasis. Codename Gamel. A high-purity geo-entity. Elemental hypostases are ultra-compact structures with a high mass. Concentrated elemental energy forms a solid shell around the core of the hypostasis, leaving only the core reactive to elemental stimuli. Oceanid. A lifeform created from condensed hydroelements of incredible purity, often attached to bodies of water. It is said that as water bodies become purer, the hydro elements within grow more abundant, causing the oceans to grow more powerful. It is also said by some that oceans were once sea creatures from a home far away who carried the fragments of the long-dead god to the many corners of this world. Perhaps they did this so that the love their god held for this world could be spread through the waters to all the land. Thunder Manifestation. An abnormal electro-elemental lifeform. Although it might appear similar to an oceanid, it does not possess her intelligence or memories. That which drives the Thunder Manifestation is a much more primal fury. It is said that these lifeforms will only descend like lightning upon places that play host to great lingering resentment, such as the fragmented Amakumo Peak, where the storm clouds ever roil. As long as the grudges of the land do not fade, so will the roaring thunder persist. Pyrospectre. A monster born from highly concentrated pyroelements that can float in the air. There was once an academia student who conducted research into their behavior. He believed that specters were a form of crystal fly, since they both had powers of flight and both were birthed in areas saturated with elemental energy. He has not graduated yet. Hydrospectre. A monster birthed from a high concentration of hydro that can float in the air. On moonlit nights, hydrospecters will give off a ghostly glow as they float by the riverbank. Their furtive forms are often mistaken by passers-by for wandering spirits, which has made them mainstays in quite a few folktales. Animospectre. A monster birthed from a high concentration of animo that can float in the air. As reason might dictate, monsters made from coalesced animo already come equipped with the ability to float. As such, their petal-like wings are most likely to be a mimetic organ first and foremost. Electrospectre. A monster born from highly concentrated electro-elements that can float in the air. A certain researcher once studied these creatures. He believed that they must be hypostases of some kind. After all, they both had elemental peculiarities and were birthed from areas saturated with elemental energy, right? By the way, he was later investigated for academic corruption. Dendrospectre. A monster born from high-density dendro energy that can float in the air. A researcher from Vahumana once did research into the ecological peculiarities of the dendrospecters, finding them to be quite similar to the legendary Aranara. His conclusion that the Aranara were actually dendrospecters. This researcher would become a little-known writer of fairy tales. Cryospectre. A monster born from highly concentrated cryo-elements that can float in the air. A certain alchemist once studied these beings, speculating that they might be a kind of slime or the Traveler, as none of the above needed a vision to use the elements. He was reprimanded by his teacher. Geospectre. A monster birthed from a high concentration of geo that can float in the air. Geospecters mimic the fruit of certain plants when their wings are close together. As such, they are held by some ancient tales to be the fruit of a giant tree in the sky, and are regarded as having mysterious medical value. Hilichurls. Hilichurl. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. They look very similar to humanity, but seem to have lost both their intellect and spirituality. Their presence on the continent has been recorded for over 1,000 years, and yet they neither have history nor civilization. Since the pitch-black calamity from 500 years ago, they have begun to spread in large numbers across the land. They are not very strong, and they lack organization, but they nonetheless bring sizable trouble to humans every once in a while. Hilichurl Fighter. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. Ill-tempered warriors for their tribes, they are simple-minded believers in the power of brute force. If their muscles grow strong enough and their strength great enough, then one day they too shall raise up a great shield and become a Minotaur. Or will they? Hilichurl Berserker. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. These Hilichurls wield flaming clubs and charge with reckless abandon to chase intruding adventurers off. Most wildfires in the grasslands or forests are not actually caused by a certain special knight, but due to the actions of these Hilichurls. Wooden Shield Hilichurl Guard. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. Hilichurl warriors who have wooden shields. These shields are not only sturdy defensive tools, but also treasured items within the tribe. According to many reports, Hilichurls will often charge at travelers making camp to cook, and will snatch their pot lids after chasing them away. Ice Shield Hilichurl Guard. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. Hilichurls display a strong sense of adaptability to their surroundings. In icy environments, they come up with ways and means to fashion this hard ice into shields to protect themselves. Rock Shield Hilichurl Guard. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. Hardy Hilichurls who have congregated in a region where geoenergies are abundant. Their impregnable shields have layers of rocky growths on them. Hilichurl Shooter. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. Hilichurl archers who wield simple crossbows. Hilichurls do not, in truth, possess the craftsmanship needed to build crossbows. As such, it is commonly believed that there is an organization that controls the Hilichurls from behind the scenes and furnishes them with equipment and material supplies. The abyss mages that often accompany these Hilichurls are especially suspicious. Pyro Hilichurl Shooter. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. These archers wield simple crossbows, and their arrowheads are coated with a thin layer of flammable material that can set their targets on fire. Elon Musk of the previous generation believed that this is an invasion by brighter Hilichurls wish to cook their game after hunting it. Electro Hilichurl Shooter. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. These archers wield simple crossbows, and their arrowheads are crafted from carved electrocrystals that will deliver an electric shock upon impact. They say that Hilichurl archers of exceptional skill can fire 5 crossbow bolts at once. A most impressive feat indeed. Cryo Hilichurl Shooter. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. These archers wield simple crossbows, and unmelting ice shrouds their arrowheads. It is said that wounds caused by these arrowheads heal very slowly, as the cold will slow the circulation of blood. Hilichurl Grenadier. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. These sneaky fellows are skilled in the use of pyroslimes, using them as weapons to attack intruders. Skilled grenadiers may be able to destroy 4 wooden dummies in a single throw. Electro Hilichurl Grenadier. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. Electro slimes don't seem to have as many applications as pyroslimes or animal slimes in the benighted lives of the Hilichurls. Perhaps one day they may discover the flow of elements between electro slime and mutant electro slime and make some great progress. Cryo Grenadier. The primitive wandering inhabitants of Teyvat's wildernesses. Hilichurls have discovered the use of cryo slimes in effectively keeping food fresh. Hilichurls have surprising amounts of wisdom in the practical use of slimes, whether it be the use of pyro and cryo slimes to make exploding barrels, or the use of animo slimes in vehicles. Perhaps this is their way of adapting to their hard lot in life. Unusual Hilichurl. Hummel hummel, mimi dummel. Wooden Shield Wall Minichurl. A muscular Hilichurl who has been forged in countless fights. They know how to use dendroslimes to create tough shields which they wield in combat. With their powerful muscles, glossy fur, and sturdy, reliable silhouettes, They help the Hilichurls withstand the pitiless assaults of adventurers, and they hold a rather exalted rank amongst the tribes. Rock Shield Wall Minichurl. A muscular Hilichurl that uses a rock as a shield. Fighting and eating meat are the two most important things to Hilichurls, because those are what make them grow stronger. All young Hilichurls dream of growing up to become a big and strong Minichurl, because that way they can eat more meat, fight more battles, and wield those almost impregnable giant rock shields. Ice Shield Wall Minichurl. A muscular Hilichurl that uses solid ice as a shield, wielding it in battle. Reason normally dictates that large creatures that see a lot of action should burn through a great number of calories to sustain themselves. As such, the present-day Elon Musk has proposed the Minichurl Index. This index correlates the percentage of Minichurls within the Hilichurl population to the stability and success of Hilichurl forging activity. Blazing Axe Minichurl. Muscular Hilichurls wield large, two-handed axes, attacks with large strikes, and will use pyro slimes to infuse their axes with pyro. They are very lethal. Usually, repeatedly quenching a weapon the way a Blazing Axe Minichurl does will decrease the hardness of the metal and cause the axe head's edge to chip more easily. But such is the strength of the Minichurls that even should the edge disappear altogether, they can still use their axes as hammers. Crackling Axe Minichurl. Muscular Hilichurls wield large two-handed axes, attacks with large strikes and uses electro slimes to infuse their axes with electro. Their blows are very lethal. Axes forged from steel are highly conductive material. The image of those tall and strong Crackling Axe Minichurls holding their axes up to summon lightning is quite majestic to the Hilichurls. Thunderhelm Wawachurl. A mysterious lord of the Hilichurls that strides through the thunderstorm. This huge Hilichurl is referred to as Wawa by its brethren. Its giant body is so saturated with electro energy that elemental energy seeps through the cracks in its body in the form of electro crystal growths. Frostarm Wawachurl. A mysterious lord of Hilichurls that stalks the snow and fog. This huge Hilichurl is referred to as a Wawa by its brethren. Its body, honed to the very limit, almost seems to blend into its cryo-filled environment, and its stoic nobility is like that of the frozen Northland rivers. Stonehide Wawachurl. A mysterious lord of Hilichurls that walks between 1,000 peaks. This huge Hilichurl is referred to as a Wawa by its brethren. The abundant geoenergies in the environment have become part of their flesh, blood, and skin, which look as if they were chiseled out of mountain rock. Hydrosamatrull. A wizened, mumbling Hilichurl, one that chants the power of Hydro. Hilichurls, especially gifted in commanding the elements, will often reach the zenith of their skill in their twilight years. What sort of life would lead to such simple creatures being able to summon water and rain? Animosamatrull. A wizened, mumbling Hilichurl, one that spreads the message of Animo. Hilichurls, especially gifted in commanding the elements, will often reach the zenith of their skill in their twilight years. Their ability to command the flowing winds stems from dark, forgotten memories. Electrosamatrull. A wizened, mumbling Hilichurl, one that prays to Electro. Hilichurls, especially gifted in commanding elements, will often reach the zenith of their skill in their twilight years. Since they possess such advanced skill in creating electricity and summoning thunder, you may as well use the crackling sound to compose an elegy. Dendrosamatrull. A wizened, mumbling Hilichurl, one that awakens the might of Dendro. Hilichurls, especially gifted in commanding the elements, will often reach the zenith of their skill in their twilight years. A grudge stirs beneath that mask, and poison ivy sprouts as hateful whispers issue forth from it. Cryosamatrull. A wizened, mumbling Hilichurl, one that calls upon the bite of Cryo. Hilichurls especially gifted in commanding the elements who often reach the zenith of their skill in their twilight years. These shamans remember the frosty chants and are even more skilled in the art of using them to entrap their foes. Geosamaturl. A wizened, mumbling Hilichurl, one that listens to the strength of Geo. Hilichurls especially gifted in commanding the elements who often reach the zenith of their skill in their twilight years. To the persevering mountains, these old Hilichurls are but children, but their memories and experiences have guided them towards gaining power over rock and stone. The Abyss. Pyro Abyss Mage. Abyss creatures command a power of pyro in battle. For unknown reasons, Abyss mages are able to communicate with the Hilichurls, thus enabling them to manipulate their minds easily. They say that Abyss mages utter a long-forgotten language from which they draw magical power. Hydro Abyss Mage. Abyss creatures that utilize hydro energy in battle. Stories circulate among adventurers that Abyss mages are at the lowest rung of the Abyss Order's hierarchy, and that they roam the various lands to scheme fell deeds of destruction. Though they also often make fun of these Abyss mages, saying that the most harm they can do is cause a rheumatism or common cold, their power is not to be underestimated. Electro Abyss Mage. Abyss creatures that utilize Electro in battles. While studying at the Academia, researcher Alva Nicola once conducted a systematic study of the methods by which Electro Abyss mages manipulate Electro and came up with a theoretical weapon known as the Nicola Coil. However, it is yet to be put into practice. Some say that his research materials were eaten during a fungal infestation. Cryo Abyss Mage. Abyss creatures that call upon cryo in battle. Though they dabble with great power and can even create icicles by condensing and freezing water vapor in the atmosphere, their bodies are very vulnerable in and of themselves. Once their protective barrier has been broken, they're at your mercy. Abyss Herald, Wicked Torrents. Servants of the Abyss Order that use Hydro in combat. These silent figures are the vanguard of the Abyss, brandishing tidal blades that can engulf everything in an instant, crumpling armor and obliterating heretics. They shall bring preordained damnation upon the foolish masses. Abyss Lector, Fathomless Flames. Wielders of abyssal fire who pursue the meaning behind texts and scriptures. He is a member of the Abyss Order. The surface people have a slightly distorted understanding of what their name means, calling them lectors when their name can also mean X-Gate. Reading the Word of Grace grants them great power. Abyss Lector, Violet Lightning. A monster who serves the Abyss Order and commands lightning while singing the praises of the darkness. These are the evangelists and scholars of the Abyss. Their violent lightning strikes the hearts of unbelievers with dark wisdom, warped by the shadowy depths of an eternal night. Its violet glow proclaiming the existence of a great power that corrodes human intellect. Rockfun Rifthound Whelp. A beast with monstrous blood that is capable of eroding the boundaries of the world. Gold classified them as Alpha Soul. They follow the encroaching abyss to devour the elements. Fortunately, there are few of them now left in this world. Thundercraven Rifthound Whelp. A beast with monstrous blood that is capable of eroding the boundaries of the world. Gold classified them as Alpha Soul. In times long gone, when giant monstrous beasts descended, large swarms of these hounds would go before them to deliquesce the borders of the world and open the way. Rockfun Rifthound. A beast with monstrous blood that is capable of eroding the boundaries of the world. They do display certain biological behaviors similar to those of real wolves. Perhaps they feel jealousy towards their next of kin and dream of replacing them someday. Thundercraven Rifthound. a beast with monstrous blood that is capable of eroding the boundaries of the world. They were created by gold. Once upon a time, they ran riot across the continent, but they went extinct for a time due to resistance and mass hunts. Recently, however, they have re-emerged. The pack of black wolves that now threaten Springvale and Wolvendom are such creatures. Golden Wolf Lord. Hailing from a dark world, this ruler of the Black Wolves has the power to call upon its followers, its hidden claws, to dissolve space itself and forge a rift through which it may enter. The Wolf Lord has no name, for it was but one of Gold's unintentional creations, and that is precisely why it is obsessed with invading worlds that do not belong to it and making a name for itself. That said, the Wolf Pack is far from unintelligent. After suffering a defeat in the previous invasion, a deserted island where no humans or protectors dwell has been selected for them to prepare for their lord's descent. Shadowy Husk, Standard Bearer. A pitch-dark soldier, once a proud warrior of an ancient underground nation, it has now lost any awareness of memory. But even so, it holds the banner of the royal house aloft into battle. Though it has forgotten its comrades or any royal blessing they might have been given, it will never lay this banner down. Shadowy Husk, Linebreaker. A pitch-dark soldier, once a proud warrior of an ancient underground nation, it no longer has any intelligence that it may still be called human. Yet the desire to destroy the foe and plunge into battle to defend others is etched into this empty suit of armor, even if no one remains to tell it where the enemy is, or who or what exactly must be defended. Shadowy Husk, Defender. A pitch-dark soldier, once a proud warrior of an ancient underground nation, it is now nothing but a husk that only bears memories of battle. All shall decay in the end, and this is all that is left of the Black Serpent Knights amidst the merciless march of their sins, curses, and time itself. Black Serpent Knight, Windcutter. A guard of some standing in the court, sundering the foes of the nation's rulers using a sword art known as Truthseeker. The Twilight Sword was once one of their number. That realm's glory has been extinguished, never again to be reclaimed. Fatui. Fatui Skirmisher, Pyroslinger Bracer. A Fatui soldier who wields a flaming gun. Skirmisher weapons can control the elements to a certain extent, and their combat tactics utilize elemental reactions. Their ordnance and knowledge of squad-based combat thus constitute no small threat in battle. Fatui Skirmisher, Hydrogunner Legionnaire. A soldier encased within a Fatui war machine. Armed with equipment that can control the elements to a certain extent, their guns are capable of firing jets of water. These skirmishers do not question if they shall live or die, as they advance into nations far from home to complete advanced missions and lay the groundwork for operations to come. Fatui Skirmisher, Animo Boxer Vanguard. A skirmisher armed with the ability to manipulate animo and heal their comrades. They departed from their motherland and did so for its sake. They left their family, yet gained allies to stick through thick and thin with. Perhaps such thoughts are what get them through the unscrupulous work that their missions entail. Fatui Skirmisher, Electro Hammer Vanguard. A sturdily built skirmisher armed with an electro-powered warhammer. As a Fatui soldier, one has access to magnificent resources, salaries, armaments, and supplies. But at the same time, it also means much time away from home and family and putting one's life in the hands of comrades one has never met. Fatui Skirmisher, Cryo Gunner Legionnaire. A soldier encased within a Fatui war machine. Armed with equipment that can control the elements to a certain extent, their guns are capable of firing jets of frost. Though this may confer elemental power beyond the ken of ordinary humans, that power may yet come at a price. Fatui Skirmisher, Geochanter Bracer. A skirmisher with the ability to generate a geoshield and defend their allies. Unlike the elite mages and agents, Fatui skirmishers are soldiers of lesser individual might. To complete their tasks and reduce losses in men and material, their tactics are thus more reliant on teamwork. Fatui Pyro Agent. A Fatui secret agent. The duty of a Fatui agent is to settle debts, but not only those of a monetary or goods and kind nature. They also ensure dues are paid when it comes to the principle of an eye for an eye. If there is one thing the Fatui are not known for, it is leniency, and whoever dares to oppose them will invoke the full force of their wrath. Fatui Electro Sisson Mage. A Fatui mage who can command Electro Sissons in battle. Their origins and what they look like under that mask are both mysteries. Similarly to the way that Electro Sissons go crazy for Mistgrass, Sisson mages take great pleasure in toying with their prey. Fatui Cryo Sisson Mage. A Fatui mage who can command Cryo Sissons in battle. Their origins and what they look like under that mask are both mysteries. Reason dictates that those who lack visions should not be able to control the elements as these mages do. However, in addition to using Mistgrass to control the Cryosissons, they also boldly wield the Might of Frost. Seeing them as they wander the land in their seemingly aimless way, one can't help but wonder about the duty that must compel them. Mirror Maiden. A Fatui mage who can command a Hydro Mirror in battle. Her posture is highly dignified, as if she is one who worships a god. The Hydro Mirror she manipulates lures those enchanted by her to willingly fall for her illusion. Nothing seems to escape her ears. No one knows what those covered eyes have seen, nor what kind of obsession might be reflected in them. Automatons. Ruin Guard. An ancient humanoid war machine. Legend has it that these machines were combat automatons created by a long-destroyed nation. They now wander ruins in ancient detritus, attacking offending travelers. Research indicates that the ruin guards and the ruins they operate in do not originate from the same source, suggesting that there may be a difference of as much as several thousand years between them on the timeline. So why then do the ruin guards continue staying among these ruins, using their explosive firepower to protect the crumbling walls and broken tiles? Ruin Hunter. A giant alien-looking war machine. They are said to be remnants from a lost ancient nation. It seems that the creators opted to forego the low-performing humanoid design in pursuit of improved combat effectiveness. They are extremely dangerous both in melee and ranged combat. Considering these mere relics possess such extraordinary power, one cannot help but wonder what the civilization that produced them must have looked like at its height. Ruin Crater. An ancient humanoid war machine. Their form is similar to that of Ruin Guards, but is more distorted and more powerful. Energy cores have been installed in both its legs, as though to power its overly heavy form. Ruin Serpent. An ancient, bizarrely shaped autonomous machine. It is said that this was heavy-duty engineering equipment left behind by a nation that has been destroyed. The gear system on its head can grind its way through even the hardest bedrock. If this was the case, then carving out tunnels with which the forces of this nation might access the whole continent would have been a thing of great ease. Ruin Cruiser. Variously bizarrely shaped machines that have taken different forms and functions to adapt to different goals. Legend has it that they are war machines left behind by a nation that has already been destroyed. Compared to the more common Ruin Guards, their forms have greater value in the study of biomimesis. The inspiration for its decentralized design and combat mode seem to have come from honeybee colonies, rendering it able to change forms and to attack from different directions. Ruin Destroyer. Variously bizarrely shaped machines that have taken different forms and functions to adapt to different goals. Legend has it that they are war machines left behind by a nation that has already been destroyed. Compared to the more common Ruin Guards, their design has greater value in the study of biomimesis. The giant crown, composed of several parts, looks like some sort of frightening plant. One wonders what one has to go through in order to design such a scary machine. Ruin Defender. Variously bizarrely shaped machines that have taken different forms and functions to adapt to different goals. Legend has it that they are war machines left behind by a nation that has already been destroyed. Compared to the more common Ruin Guards, their design has greater value in the study of biomimesis. The insect-like limbs are more agile than those of humanoid machines, and the shield formed by its various components can resist any frontal attack. Ruin Scout. Variously bizarrely shaped machines that have taken different forms and functions to adapt to different goals. Legend has it that they are war machines left behind by a nation that has already been destroyed. Compared to the more common Ruin Guards, their design has greater value in the study of biomimesis. Exactly why the form and movements of certain deep-sea lifeforms are being imitated is not known, but either way, tangling with them is hardly the best idea. Perpetual Mechanical Array. A strange, alien machine. They say that it is a war machine left behind by a nation that has already been destroyed. Composed of several different parts, it can adapt to its combat environment and employ a variety of attacks. This machine, composed of cubic shapes, is on some level very much like the elemental hypostases. Ruin Drake. Earth Guard. A horrifying dragon-shaped machine. It is said to be a war machine left behind by a now-destroyed nation. It mimics the appearance of the beings known as bishops, with some functional enhancements. Such machines have an even greater ability to absorb, or perhaps the right word is counteract, elemental powers than the bishops. From this ability, one can glimpse the scale of the ambition that the civilization that made these machines must have once held. Ruin Drake. Skywatch. A horrifying dragon-shaped machine. It is said to be a war machine left behind by a now-destroyed nation. It mimics the appearance of the beings known as bishops, with some functional enhancements. Such machines have an even greater ability to absorb, or perhaps the right word is counteract, elemental powers than the bishops. How, you wonder, did a civilization that could make such frightening machines of war collapse? Eon Blight Drake. This dragon-shaped combat machine is a being that inspires fear, much like the Lord who once ruled these vast lands. It is said that the now-destroyed realm once sought forbidden knowledge and attempted to create perpetual motion machines that could match or even surpass primordial lifeforms. This mysterious, tireless mechanical monstrosity seems to be proof that they did indeed reach heights that mortals should have never attained. Primal Construct. Repulsor. The Guardians of the lost ancient desert ruins have power enough to punish any who would presume to disturb the pure dreams of their lord. These machines were not first built to be temple guards or palace defenders, but instead to rebirth the paradise that the foolish desert ruler dreamed of. Today, that utopia is long gone, and the dreams and oaths, forgotten by the world, are now only found in the mantras inscribed upon these machines. Primal Construct, Reshaper. The Guardians of the Lost Ancient Desert Ruins have power enough to punish any who would presume to disturb the pure dreams of their lord. The Lord of the Blazing Sun who once ruled this desert once promised his people a utopia on the other side of existence, though it ultimately turned out to be a mirage made of folly. Today, that utopia is long gone, and the dreams and oaths, forgotten by the world, are now only found in the mantras inscribed upon these machines. Primal Construct, Prospector. The Guardians of the Lost Ancient Desert Ruins have power enough to punish any who would presume to disturb the pure dreams of their lord. The Master of the Sands once took to studying taboo knowledge in an effort to create a dream paradise, and these machines may or may not have been the fruits of that research. Today, that utopia is long gone, and the dreams and oaths, forgotten by the world, are now only found in the mantras inscribed upon these machines. Algorithm of Semi-Intransit Matrix of Overseer Network. A perpetual motion machine that rules over the many constructs scattered throughout the desert. It seems that the lonely ruler's will still indwells this device. Perhaps due to a friend's teachings in a dream, or perhaps because he coveted the power of the holy ones in the skies, the king created mysterious devices that should not exist in this world before founding his realm in these lands. Amidst the ruins of the City of the Pillars, the ancient crystals still reflect the glory of the Golden Paradise, though none now live who remember the king's dreams. Maguk Henki. A disciplined mechanical swordsman. Doesn't seem to have the ability nor will to speak, but instead only seeks to communicate with crossed swords. It is said that this machine was made using the memories of a first-generation master of a certain sword school. However, it malfunctioned, lost control, and was ultimately discarded. Some sing that the machine's spirit still lingers in the place where its fate was ended. They also say that the vicious mask that serves as its guard was inspired by a famous Oni from that era. Other human factions. Treasure Hoarders, Scout. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. Theirs is the legwork and the tailing of targets. They usually wind up in criminal circles due to poverty or a lack of education, but they don't seem to have gotten any richer after choosing a life of crime. Treasure Hoarders, Pyro Potioneer. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. Risk-takers who utilize their knowledge of chemistry to mix volatile and flammable brews that aid in their comrades' dastardly deeds. Treasure Hoarders, Hydro Potioneer. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. They say that some treasure hoarder potioneers used to be charlatans who would wander villages, towns, and cities, hawking their special blends of elixirs, holy waters, and the like. These cure-alls certainly seem to serve better in combat than they ever did in chicanery. Treasure Hoarders, Electro Potioneer. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. Potioneer is the nickname given to members of the Treasure Hoarder organization who know how to brew up dangerous chemicals. What? Did you think this treasure has Adventurers Guild written all over it or something? A certain Treasure Hoarder Potioneer during a confrontation with adventurers. Treasure Hoarders, Cryo Potioneer. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. Cryo Potioneers are quite the welcome sight amongst the treasure hoarders due to their elixirs having the ability to rapidly cool things down. Even out in the wild where there are no misfires to be found, they can have some cold liquor to make merry with. Treasure hoarders, handymen. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. These members do physical work and are lower on the pecking order. They are often laughed at for their physique, but when the gang comes under attack, they get a chance to show their unexpectedly high strength and agility. Treasure hoarders, marksmen. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. Though they are called marksmen, this name has an undercurrent of mockery to it, as they use crossbows instead of bows, which require a long period of training to use. It must be said that even hilichurls know how to operate a crossbow. Just point the wider end at the enemy, pull the trigger, and BAM! That's all there is to it. Treasure hoarder, grave digger. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. They say that we stand on the shoulders of giants. That means digging up the accumulated wealth of our forebears, taking them with us, and, returning them to the economic cycle. What a noble endeavor, am I right? A certain treasure hoarder gravedigger, while delving deep into a ruin. Treasure hoarders, seamen. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. Stealing? What do you mean, stealing? It's rediscovery, I tell you. The return of treasure to those who appreciate it. Makes everyone happy to boot. How great is that, eh? A certain treasure hoarder seaman, in response to a question posed by a doubtful recruit. Treasure hoarders, pugilist. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. Passionate about battle and muscles, they are quite picky about food and will often boast of the benefits of having a fine musculature, leading to some dissatisfaction from their fellow treasure hoarders. Treasure hoarders, crusher. A member of the decentralized criminal organization that has footprints all over the continent and even deep within unknown domains. This person was originally a miner, one who, even with the allowance that they were provided with after the closure of the chasm, ended up with the treasure hoarders for various reasons. Nobushi, Jintaban. Samurai who have fallen into banditry. Though they are called the Nobushi, they do not have a centralized organization. Having pursued the path of a martial artist for a long time, they possess highly advanced sword skills but no longer use them for good. Sometimes, they even collude with the treasure hoarders or Fatui out of a greed for wealth, or simply to survive. Nobushi, Hitsukeban. Samurai who have fallen into banditry. Though they are called the Nobushi, they do not have a centralized organization. They not only possess highly advanced sword skills, but can also carry out flame powder attacks using the elements. Objectively speaking, perhaps this method of winning goes against the path of a martial artist. Sometimes they even collude with the treasure hoarders or Fatui out of a greed for wealth, or simply to survive. Nobushi, Kikoban. Samurai who have fallen into banditry. Though they are called the Nobushi, they do not have a centralized organization. They possess highly advanced sword skills and also use crossbows to ambush opponents, using any means to win. Those who have abandoned the title of a martial artist often abandon their dignity as well. Sometimes they even collude with the treasure hoarders of the Fatui out of a greed for wealth, or simply to survive. Kairiki, Fiery Might. Samurai who have fallen into banditry. They practiced martial arts since they were young, but lost the opportunity to serve the people due to certain reasons and turned from the righteous path. Their blades' edges are not cold like ordinary steel, but instead burn with a bitter flame. They seem to have used paper seals, created from a lost Kamuna art, to set their blades afire. Kairigi, Dancing Thunder. Samurai who have fallen into banditry. They possess highly advanced martial arts skills but found no use for them for various reasons. Out of desperation, they have fallen onto the path of evil. They use paper seals, created from a Kamuna art that has been lost for centuries, to infuse their blades with the power of lightning. Eremite Axe Vanguard. A member of a loosely organized mercenary corps from the Golden Desert Sands, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. These axe-wielding ladies often wade into the slaughter without fear, creating openings for their comrades to capitalize on. They will sometimes sit by the fireside in their sand-swept homeland and play songs that were lost in that golden sea. Eremite Crossbow. A member of a loosely organized mercenary corps from the Golden Desert Sands, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. The Eremite tradition is to use bows to engage their foes, but ever since the Academia permitted them to buy crossbows at the bazaars, only the proudest shooters would still use bows, which take many years of practice to master. Eremite Ravenbeak Halberdier. A member of a loosely organized mercenary corps from the Golden Desert Sands, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. These warriors use Ravenbeak halberds in battle. It is said that ascetics who serve the deity of the desert would carry these halberds as symbols of their office. These weapons once had a true name, but it has long been lost to the desert sands. Eremite Winebreaker. A member of a loosely organized mercenary corps from the Golden Desert Sands, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. This warrior wields a unique fist blade and joins the Eremites to seek out stronger foes. Rather than pay, these warriors fight more to attain greater martial might. Eremite Sword Dancer. A member of a loosely organized mercenary corps from the Golden Desert Sands, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. This desert warrior wields a large curved blade in battle. The skills such fighters boast of have been passed down since the days when their now lost civilization was still extant, and are not only techniques to be used in battle, but also serve well as a performing art popular in various lands. It is said that this sword art was once practiced from horseback. Eremite Desert Clearwater. A member of a loosely organized mercenary corps from the Golden Desert Sands, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. A young lady lost in the ancient dream of the desert songs. To her, the thrill of bloody battle is her true reward. Legend has it that the women of this tribe are often afflicted by the wandering spirits of the desert, a condition that leads many of them to an early end. Perhaps this one can only be free of these apparitions when her blood is up in combat. An ominous, fragmented spirit is sealed within the weapon she uses, awakening in moments of peril. Once it does, it can only be silenced by the cries of the vanquished, whether that be its wielder or its wielder's foe. Eremite Sunfrost. A member of a loosely organized mercenary corps from the Golden Desert Sands, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. A professional mercenary who cares about nothing outside of work and the mission at hand. To such people, their only game plan is to complete the mission, and their high asking prices on the market match that commitment. An ominous, fragmented spirit is sealed within the weapon they use, awakening in moments of peril. Once it does, it can only be silenced by the cries of the vanquished, whether that be its wielder or its wielder's foe. Eremite Day Thunder. A member of a loosely organized mercenary corps from the Golden Desert Sands, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. A true scion of a warrior tribe, such warriors see battle as their ordained purpose, and unlike some barbarian who wields a large axe with ease, these tribespeople are also quite well versed in the lore and the songs of the desert ruins. An ominous, fragmented spirit is sealed within the weapon they use, awakening in moments of peril. Once it does, it can only be silenced by the cries of the vanquished, whether that be its wielder or its wielder's foe. Eremite Gale Hunter. A person hailing from the loosely organized mercenary bands of the desert, will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. In this age where crossbows are in widespread use, only the most experienced of Eremite warriors know how to use a longbow in battle. They do not even need their eyes, merely their ears with which they sense the flow of wind and sand alike to judge the location of their foes. Omnious, fragmented spirits are sealed within the weapons they use, awakening in moments of peril. Once these weapons awaken, they can only be silenced by the cries of the vanquished. Eremite Stone Enchanter. A person hailing from the loosely organized mercenary bands of the desert. Will work for anyone as long as the pay is good. In ancient days, these heavily equipped warriors were the domain of the personal, trusted guards of the Lord of the Blazing Sun. It is perhaps on this account that they gleam like the golden sun itself to this day. Omnious, fragmented spirits are sealed within the weapons they use, awakening in moments of peril. Once these weapons awaken, they can only be silenced by the cries of the vanquished, whether that be their wielders or their wielders' foes. Mystical Beasts. Pyro Whopper Flower. A mimetic plant monster that attacks without warning and uses pyro to hunt its prey. The world of Tevat plays host to plants infused with the elements. Having gained a measure of intellect, their nutritional needs have also greatly increased. Electro Whopper Flower. Energetic plant monsters that use electro to attack their prey. When fully charged with electro energy, they can unleash a strong electric current from their crowns. As such, some researchers have tried to apply them in other areas. Cryo Whopper Flower. A mimetic plant monster that appears out of nowhere and uses cryo in combat. These plants work under the surface and ambush unsuspecting prey. With the passage of years, sufficient nutrition, and the right environment, it could even take root somewhere and grow into a giant cryo-regis vine. Pyro-regis vine. A giant vine that has absorbed the ancient flame that rages within the ley lines. It is restless as if filled with endless fury. Poets, bards, and even some academics believe that elements also contain emotions and hopes. If this is true, then one can only wonder what emotions caused the Pyro-regis vine to burn eternally, writhing like one longing to be free from the confines of the earth. Electro-regis vine. A huge vine that has morphed into a monster through the conduction of high-voltage currents through the ley lines. Electricity surges constantly from its canopy like the unending rage of the earth itself. Kshatrawar researchers once submitted that a complex circuit matrix might be set up around this creature to carry electrical energy for the city for use there. This plan was stridently opposed by scholars from Spantamad, who sacrificed 10 Shroomboars to drive home the point about the dangers of utilizing electricity. Cryo-regis vine. A monster formed from a vine that was imbued with the essence of biting frost within the ley lines. Some studies suggest that plants are like the organs of the world, harmonizing the turbulent elemental energies of the ley lines. Concrete examples of this phenomena are mistflowers, whopper flowers, and the like, which brim over with elemental energy. In certain circumstances, certain plants will turn into creatures of monstrous size and intent, such as the cryo-regis vines, in the course of many years. Geovishap hatchling. A young bishop with a hard geo-exoskeleton. Bishops are exceptionally agile creatures that one would be wise not to underestimate in battle. Experts from Sumeru academia believe that they become dragons when fully grown. By avoiding predators and natural disasters, perhaps they can even live long enough to become formidable beasts that reign over entire mountains. Geovishap. A mature Geovishap. It is said that after many years have passed, Geovishap hatchlings will shed the armor that originally protected them and become Geovishaps. However, these two and the older, greater Primo Geovishaps have spent many years hibernating under the mountains, and have only emerged and become active in recent times. As such, none can personally attest to having witnessed or recorded such a thing in person. Primo Geovishap. After many years, the awesomely powerful Primo Geovishaps grow accustomed to changes in their elemental environment. Folktales hold that after the great draconic calamity that led to the ruination of Tianqiu Valley, the overlord of the Geovishaps and Primo Geovishaps was imprisoned deep beneath the earth, and so too did they burrow into deep and unseen places, awaiting their chance to rise once more. Primordial Bathysmal Vishap. A Vishap that dwells deep beneath the oceans. They were once the dominant race in the depths, and indeed, dragons were the overlords of the whole world in an even earlier age. But their former 7 sovereigns were defeated by a power from the heavens, withering one by one. Rimebiter Bathysmal Vishap. A Vishap that dwells deep beneath the oceans. Due to certain social adaptations, it has manifested a form aligned with the cryo element. The coming of humans sparked a conflict and resultant evolution within the Bathysmal Vishaps, just as ants might divide up labor in biological characteristics, thus appearing in different forms. These Vishaps are stronger than their ordinary kin. Bolt Eater Bathysmal Vishap. A Vishap that dwells deep beneath the oceans. Due to certain adaptations, it has manifested a form aligned with the electro element. Following the fading of the 7 sovereigns' power, a new generation of sovereigns is presently being born. But now that the Bathysmal Vishaps have evolved in this manner, they have lost their purity. As such, the Dragon of the Water will no longer be born from among their ranks. Prophecy holds that the new Dragon of Water will definitely descend in the form of a human. Hydrocyssin. Little creatures that can ever so slightly manipulate hydro. They and other such creatures are known collectively as Sissins, and they truly adore the rare and wonderful Mistgrass plant. It is by exploiting this relationship that the Fatui mages have sought to commander Sissins in battle. Electrocyssin. Little creatures that can ever so slightly manipulate electro. They and other such creatures are known collectively as Sissins, and though they are individually weak, they can cause significant damage under the right circumstances. Cryocyssin. Little creatures that can ever so slightly manipulate cryo. They and other such creatures are known collectively as Sissins. They are individually very weak, but it is precisely because they are weak that they have evolved unique methods of movement that allow them to avoid predators. Floating Hydrofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. It is said that it tastes awful. However, such fungi have lots of moisture within them, and so can be used as an emergency water source. Floating Anemofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. This mushroom may have a sizable cap, but the umbrella-shaped structure is in fact hollow, and thus does not make for a particularly good meal. Floating dendrofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence, it possesses extreme adaptability. A researcher once said that these are some species of dendrospector. After this view was criticized, he changed his tack, claiming that this was just a literary turn of phrase. Whirling pyrofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. Due to the abundant amount of pyro these creatures contain, they have a tendency to cause forest fires during dry seasons, and thus are considered a dangerous invasive species to the forest. Whirling electrofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. Research has shown that this sort of fungal beast's internal electric current will change periodically. If further developed, perhaps this study may give rise to a wide range of uses. Whirling cryofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. Putting fungi on ice does not make them taste any better, but it does at least help with relieving the heat. Stretchy pyrofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. This creature only looks explosive. It is in fact a most gentle soul, so long as you don't get too close. Stretchy anemofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. This mushroom quickly absorbs nutrients through its extended column, and its umbrella-shaped cap turns where the wind's flow carries it. Stretchy electrofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. Unlike other fungi, this creature possesses a cap with a luminous tendril sticking out of it. When in danger, it will release small electric orbs as a form of self-defense. Stretchy geofungus. A spore organism of some intelligence. It possesses extreme adaptability. These shrooms' caps have hard outer layers derived from concretions of geoenergy. Its bodily structure is also quite likely to be denser than others of its kind. Grounded hydroshroom. A mimetic lifeform made out of spores that has extreme adaptability. This creature may look like a bird, but it cannot fly. Due to the influence of hydroenergies, it is astoundingly agile compared to others of its kind. Some research has inferred that this creature is in fact an aggregation of countless tiny spores rather than a single entity. This creature has a position of command amongst colonies of fungi and exhibits heightened intelligence to match. Winged dendroshroom. A mimetic lifeform made out of spores that has extreme adaptability. Going well past mere appearances, this being even imitates the habits of birds. It can use its spore-built wings to fly in the sky, spreading yet more spores to yet more distant places. This creature has a position of command amongst colonies of fungi and exhibits heightened intelligence to match. Winged cryoshroom. A mimetic lifeform made out of spores that has extreme adaptability. Going well past mere appearances, this being even imitates the habits of birds. When it flies about, it will scatter icy flowers in its wake. These crystal cores, too, are spores. This creature has a position of command amongst colonies of fungal beasts and exhibits heightened intelligence to match. Grounded Geoshrew. A mimetic lifeform made out of spores that has extreme adaptability. This being has undergone almost complete keratinization due to the influence of Geo. When one considers that fungi evolved from spores, perhaps this one might even be the foundation for a further evolution into some new lifeform altogether, if given time, that is. This creature has a position of command amongst colonies of fungal beasts and exhibits heightened intelligence to match. Jade Plume Terror Shroom. Over many long years, this large fungal beast has morphed into a unique form. Its intelligence has already reached and perhaps even surpassed real animals, and it will actively hunt prey to obtain sustenance. Its tail has a lovely jade plumage that seems very similar to that of the ancient sacred beast that the Spantamad school reveres. As far as the logic of mimesis is concerned, it seems quite likely that the two beings once walked the earth together. Enemies of note. Storm Terror. One of the four winds of Mondstadt, Dvalin, the Dragon of the East. With the passage of long years and amid boundless darkness, even the purest gem will become dulled by dust, and even the noble dragon might be corrupted and cankered by hatred. But never forget that dust can be wiped away, and the power of doubt and poison can be shattered. Fly freely in the sky, just like you did in those days when we met, and when I walked upon this land and sang the songs of the wind, and you soared on high, looking down on the world from above. Today, the sky is no longer swept by wind and snow. The green grass grows all over the earth, and it is beautiful. If you too could walk the earth and listen to the songs of shepherds and the scattered sound of wind chimes in the distance, if you too could have tasted wine as sweet as honey, you would understand. How wonderful it would have been if you were as I, witnessing your noble, beautiful form as you soared through the blue sky. Then you would know that this sky and this earth are both things worth fighting for. Lupus Boreas, Dominator of Wolves. The noblest and greatest of souls, who watches over the Lupical of Wolvendom. When the wolf pack is imperiled, it will emerge in the form of a wolf and show forth its fangs and claws. The wolves of Wolvendom are frightening phantoms to the people of Mondstadt. A blurred shape flashing through the forest, a chilling howl in the indeterminate distance, the creeping sense of eyes constantly nailed to their backs. Humans rarely have the opportunity to walk their eyes with a wolf, for this is the law Lupus Boreas laid down for its race. Child Tartaglia, 11th of the Fatui Harbingers. He draws power from the omnious delusion he possesses and fights using martial arts that he learned in a land of darkness. He is a pure warrior with an insatiable lust for battle. Each bloody conflict, each life and death struggle is a delightful trial to him. People say that the young child is famed throughout the land for his battle prowess, but he has never taken big talk of this kind to heart. After all, you shall ever be the eye of the storm, and the clashing of steel shall ever accompany you. The pitch-black memory of stepping into uttermost darkness shall at last become the strength by which you will overturn this world. Ajdaha. An enormous dragon as ancient as the mountains themselves. In an age that is all but faded from memory, he stood shoulder to shoulder with one who ruled over a harbor of stone. But in the end, the two came into conflict, and the dragon was banished to a dark place deep underground. Over the long years of his imprisonment, his power has slowly dissipated. He has also become disfigured from the various kinds of erosion he has been subjected to. The faint rattling of this dragon lord's shackles and his deep, angry growl echo through the bowels of the mountains like memories of a bygone era. La Senora. Senora, the 8th of the Fatui Harbingers. Unlike other Fatui who use the authority granted by delusions, her delusion is meant to shackle a flame that will devour everything. As opposed to a weapon used to kill, it might be more fitting to consider this a tool of imprisonment, and it was the embers of that flame, which had accumulated over many long years, that would break through the frosty seal of the delusion and apply a warped rogue upon her. The crimson dawn was reflected in her pupils, and at last, she unfolded her flaming wings and flew towards the light. But that light is not the dawn, dear Rosalind. That is a sea of flame that will consume everything. Yet it mattered not, for she knew in her heart that the flames had devoured her long ago. Magatsu Mitake no Kami no Mikoto. This is the form that the puppet that inherited the Raiden Shogun's authority takes when she is opposing those who threaten eternity. As the Raiden Shogun's assistant in pursuing eternity, she has never doubted, never felt fear, never given anything less than her best, never been disturbed by idle thoughts. She once heard about how A shouldered a similar duty when Makoto was also present, suffering much agonizing loss in the process. When the two shadows overlapped once more, however, she could only see the countless fine fractures in what should have been her eternal will. Since fate is destined for cyclicality, she must fulfill her promise and declare war on her. Mine is the most supreme and noble form. Power over the realm has been vested within me, and I am the essence of all that is the Raiden Shogun. Naturally, I have also inherited the pain of A's countless losses in her will to attain eternity. Resolve, valor, love, hate. They will all twist in the river of time, but the rules will never change. Shoki no Kami, the Prodigal. Shoki no Kami, as an artificial divinity created using all the might of Sumeru's 6 Darshans, has power that rivals that of true gods. But those of this world who call such a being a false deity misunderstand the true meaning of the word. Shoki no Kami now understands countless things and shoulders unassailable might, and may be said to surpass mortals. If gods must love mortals, then Shoki no Kami, who grants failure in equal measure to humanity, loves them also. If gods must watch over humanity, then Shoki no Kami, who was born witness to infinite love, hatred, partings, grudges, and maddening anger. Thus does he watch over mortals. Too much happiness you have had. It has made you foolish, arrogant, horrifying in your greed. Let this era end. Let the new god announce the defeat of the old. Foolish mortal, there is yet time for you to kneel.